Thanks for joining me for part 5 of our Pilliga series. Make sure you check out the previous episodes if you haven't already. We just come from a day of rock scrambling and now we are making our way to the Yaminba Caves. This was certainly the most technical section of the trip, with quite a few very soft spots and several opportunities to get stuck. However, with good risk assessment we made it through without too many issues. After a fairly long drive, we finally made it to the Sandstone Caves, which are not far from the main highway. The walk around the Yaminba Sandstone Caves takes you through some spectacular weathered sandstone formations that have been carved by wind and rain over millions of years. The 1.7 kilometer circuit reveals impressive chambers, overhangs and rock art that tells the story of these areas' long history of human occupation. What's particularly disappointing is seeing areas now fenced off to protect the rock art from vandalism and thoughtless visitors. It's hard to understand how people can visit such a historical significant site and think it's acceptable to damage or deface these ancient artworks. The fact that protective barriers are necessary speaks to a broader problem. Some visitors simply don't respect what they are looking at. This site has been shared with the public, and the least we can do is leave it exactly as we found it for future generations to experience and learn from. We've had a quick walk to Yaminba Caves, which, beautiful. Definitely recommend it if you're in the area. So now off to the Warrumbungles, and I really wouldn't mind getting a shower. So we shall see. Warrumbungles is just stunning here. Can't believe that I've never been here. All these mountains, or whatever you want to call it, thrown around. It's just beautiful. I absolutely love it. No matter where you look, you see a different peak. We were planning to get to camp now to set up with a bit of daylight, but I just saw the turnoff to the observatory and we may be just there for sunset, so I think we're going to do that and have to set up at night. Perched on Mount Warrumbungles at 1,165 meters above sea level, Siding Spring Observatory is Australia's premier optical astronomy facility and one of the Southern Hemisphere's most important research sites. Established by the Australian National University in 1964, it was chosen for its exceptional conditions: dark skies, low humidity, stable atmosphere and roughly 70% clear nights annually. The observatory was born from necessity when light pollution began affecting Mount Stromolo Observatory near Canberra. The remote Warrumbungles location provided the perfect solution, far from city lights and blessed with ideal atmospheric conditions. Today it hosts around 30 telescopes, including the famous Anglo-Australian telescope, which was groundbreaking when it opened in the mid-1970s as the first full computer-controlled major telescope. From this mountaintop, astronomers have mapped the southern sky, discovered extrasolar planets and tracked potential dangerous near-Earth asteroids. Unfortunately, we arrived a bit late, so couldn't enter anymore, but I did manage to send the drone up and capture some magnificent shots. Yeah guys, I'm here at Blackmans Camp, Warrumbungles. We arrived after dark, so you have to pre-book, so I booked a camp spot. Obviously we booked 4 and 5, which we thought, will be next to each other. But the camp spots here are tiny, and I mean, honestly, ours are next to each other. If we park our cruisers next to each other with a space for a stretcher, we can't even open the door. Parked in a different spot now here, and if I have my rear tailgate here open, my cruiser is standing in the car spot. So these camp spots here must be made for a little Corolla or so. Again, this whole pre-booking system, it comes again to that. It's just not good. I do not like it. It doesn't work for me. Anyway, better set up camp now. Easiest cleanup is wiping the pan while it's still hot right after cooking. That's all it really needs, especially with these anti-stick pans. I'm naked. What a day. After dinner and cleanup, it was time for a shower. Basti, who went before me, said it was just like a caravan park. Hot showers and very comfortable. I'm just wondering why national parks feel they need to become like caravan parks, because that seems to be the direction they are heading. When I go to a national park campground, I don't need hot showers or these luxuries. What also puzzles me is that national parks has let so much stuff go over the years, yet with these so-called improvements, they're creating infrastructure that requires more maintenance and more staff. I wonder how that equation actually works out financially and practically. We see how it works out financially with increased prices. Oh, look at this. I may just take it. I mean, that is fancy, isn't it? That's a unisex one. Oh, for my clothes, beautiful. Went to bed fairly early after a long day. And it was wind still night, was very balmy. I thought, no, all good. Didn't take any camera into the tent because I thought it would be very uneventful. However, in the middle of the night, wind gusts and rain came up, absolutely crazy. In a lull of the rain, I went to the car, got my Zoom audio recorder because I wanted to record how my fly from the stretcher tent nearly flew away. Inconveniently, that went from full to empty within 1 second, so I only got a few seconds of audio. But it certainly highlighted another issue for me with these Legoland campgrounds, which we have here. If I would have been in the bush somewhere, I would have gone up and repositioned my car to protect my stretcher. I have done that many times in the past, so that the wind really goes against the car first and not the stretcher. But because we here in a Legoland campground and I only have this small little car spot, I can't drive or move the car at all. I was pretty stuck here. Look at these tiny little sites here where you put your car in and camp or what. It's horrible. There's Joey looking out of the pouch. It is super cold. It is super windy. There is a winter storm front forecasted, and that certainly has arrived. Last night was warm, and now it is very damn fresh. So we will see where we end up. Yeah, countryside. We're driving from Coonabarabran to Nundle, and again, countryside is absolutely beautiful. Tons of rolling hills, and they had a bit of rain, so it is fairly green. Yeah, we're here in Nundle. I've never been here. I saw this old little store. I thought I have to film that antique building with the old Land Rover here in front of it. Look at that old store. That looks beautiful. Nice little town here, actually. How stunning is this? That feels like in the good old time. Yeah, guys, that building is 140 years old, so has always been a store or closed. And what a beautiful way to bring that building back to life. See, the weather has improved. We just did a little detour to Nundle because I thought we stay somewhere around there. But it was still pretty cloudy and freezing cold. While the cold hasn't improved, the weather has improved because it is sunny now. Just turned off to the Tawari National Park. Keen to see what it is like. We're certainly driving towards, again, a mountain range here, so hopefully some nice views.
Once again, just so freaking beautiful.
And that was Bastian saying how beautiful it looks where we're going. So yes. And looks like we have the campground to ourselves. And it even is a bit sheltered. This was a pleasant turn of events, since we've already resigned ourselves to driving home. Finding this small empty campground with no mobile reception but beautiful sunshine was exactly what we needed. We set up camp, though it was still fairly windy and fresh. Unlike at the Warrumbungles campground, where space was limited, I could now position the car to shield my stretcher from most of the wind. What a beautiful spot here, I've never heard of it. Or maybe not naming it. Oh, even nicer pool here. Look, I really don't want to rant. Yesterday we stayed at the Warrumbungle campground, the Blackmans Campground, and that was $24.60, and I thought that's expensive. However, you had some very sophisticated showers, hot showers, you had rubbish facilities. So today here we are at Washpool National Park, and that is a very simple national park. There are some drop toilets and a barbecue. Very nice park, don't get me wrong. But for one night in the middle of winter, $24.60 for one person. I think that is crazy. How much would it be for two? Would be the same, no? At the time I thought it is per site. However, the $24.60 covers two people, each child between 5 and 15 years at $6.15 per child. And if your child is over 15, it's $12.30 per child. So with a family of 4 and 2 kids over 15, you would pay $50 per night for a camp spot in the national park. Crystal clear, that water, absolutely stunning. This is one of the reasons why the Anker Solix has replaced my Delta 3 as most favorite battery bank, and probably the one I will keep using for the time being. They are both top quality, so I have no issue with that, even though the EcoFlow Delta 3 I don't like as much as the Delta 2. The Anker Solix quality-wise at least as good. To be honest, the finish and so on I like a little bit better, especially than the Delta 3. But the big plus for me is the positioning of all the ports. So my charging is from here, my inverter. The cable comes out, and the EcoFlow Delta 3 has the display and everything here, the way how I pack, so I can never see what it does. So I plug this back in here. Now I slide that in. So it fits perfectly with my boxes and everything, as you can see here. Now I switch the red arc inverter on, and I can see what the unit does. So packing size, it just works perfectly for me, and better than the Delta 2. that is after 2 meals from frozen to ready. So I get 3 meals out of it. And yeah, quality rice, I really like it. I actually like that you have 2 100-watt ports, 2 IQ fast charging USB-A ports, the car socket, and obviously 4 individual 220-volt sockets. And it has a light, which has a few different stages. And that is actually quite handy for cooking and so on. I mean, I have my telescopic light from the top, but otherwise that would do a great job here. That's a wrap for episode 5, but we are not completely done yet. In the next episode, we take the walk to the actual wash pools, where I get wet feet creek hopping. And we also visit Burning Mountain, an underground coal seam that's been burning continuously for 6,000 years, before we then finally head home. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please keep in mind, this is a self-funded channel, so I would greatly appreciate if you could help me out by sharing, liking and subscribing. And if you can, please consider head over to Patreon or buy me a coffee, and with the equivalent of a cup of coffee or 2 per month, you can really help me making these videos. Thanks a lot for watching and see you along the tracks.